Thank you. In 1984, on July 24th, 1984, during my plebe or freshman year at the United States Military Academy at West Point, I found myself on a gurney being wheeled into an ambulance, wondering what had just happened. It was 54 days after I had received my diploma, standing right here. One of the things I vividly remember was a conversation that the orderly had with my mom as I was laying there. And he said, "Your son has hurt his knee playing soccer. He's going to have surgery in the morning. He's fine. And most importantly, don't come. There's nothing you can do to help." So from the heights of standing here at graduation to that, it was a pretty fast fall. The good news is the surgery went well. I've been able to, I played 3 years of college hockey on my knee. I ran a bunch of marathons. To this day, it still feels great. So that's the good news. What I didn't realize at that moment, though, was that in the next 48 hours after that surgery, I would learn things that would serve as bedrock, as the foundation that I draw from literally every day throughout my career and still. After the surgery, I was told that, it was about a day and a half afterwards, that I was going to be brought back to convalesce, to heal with my classmates. And the orderly said to me, "We're going to leave tomorrow morning at about 5 o'clock, be ready to go." I was in a cast from my hip down to my ankle. Middle of July, sweltering hot, sticky, just really, really hard to be in a cast. He picked me up, got me in the Jeep, drove me around to a part of West Point called the Area. It's the hub, it's the center of West Point, surrounded by huge, beautiful old buildings, 6-story tall, that is the nerve center of cadet life and activity. And he dropped me off, put me on a curb like that, and said, "Wait right here, I'm gonna park the Jeep, I'm gonna be back with a wheelchair. I'll pick you up and I'll bring you up and make sure you're all set up." And I'm sitting there, and literally as he turns that corner, from the other direction comes a 2-star general. And I immediately see him and he sees me. And one of the first things you're taught at West Point is to stand and salute a superior officer. And I couldn't. I struggled. I was like a turtle on his back. I just couldn't lift myself off that curb to get up and salute my boss's boss. You know, it was ridiculous that this guy was coming at me. And as I was struggling, I see his feet and he's right there. And he lifts me up with his arm, gets this close to my nose, and starts to yell. Says a bunch of really unflattering things about my mom and a whole bunch of other things that I won't repeat. And I'm shocked. And he asks my superior officer's name. I tell it to him, and he walks away in disgust. And at West Point, they challenge you constantly. They give you things that are difficult to see how you're going to react. And so at times you can tell that's going on, and at other times you feel like they mean it. And it felt like this guy really meant it. So he walks away, going this way. The gentleman with my wheelchair comes back 4.5 minutes later, on time, but too late. And he puts me in the wheelchair, wheels me up, puts me in my room. I'm sitting on the edge of my bed, crying. Literally and figuratively shattered. I look at my clock and it says 6:03 a.m. So I lift my leg up on the bed, pass out, feeling bad, feeling sorry for myself, frankly. Really sorry for myself. How did I get here? A couple of hours later, I wake up to the sound. I'm on the 5th floor. I wake up to the sound of activity in the area beneath me, and it is Alpha Company, A Company, coming in from a 15-mile march. They're covered in mud and rifles and big rucksacks and all kinds of stuff, and they're being drilled. They're being yelled at. You've got to do these 15 things. You've got to clean up, put your rifles away, do all this stuff, unpack your gear, and make your beds. And that was a big deal because we'd only learned how to make military-style beds the day before I got hurt. So it was all still new, the hospital corners and bouncing quarters, and it was a real challenge. So I watched that, and Bravo Company comes in, same orders. Charlie Company comes in, same orders. I'm in Delta Company. I'm in D. And literally, through that window, now I look at it as a window of opportunity, I experienced for the first time in my life what I'll call signal. It's that recognition that you can do something that is mission critical, that is really important, that'll make things better. So what I realized at that moment, even though I'm in this cast, I'm dizzy, I'm fatigued, I hadn't eaten, I could make my 11 squad mates beds. I had no idea if it was significant. I had no idea if it mattered at all. But I figured I had about 35 minutes. So I quickly hobbled over, made my bed, took about 10 minutes, and next one was a little faster. And the big challenge, frankly, was not sweating on the beds because I was soaking wet. And I improvised and I put towels on. I looked like the Michelin Man, literally. I had like this much I could see, and I'm wrapped up in towels so I don't sweat on the beds. And I hobbled around and I made the beds. My classmates, they came in, Delta Company comes in, and they look, they get up and they look, and it's like Christmas. The beds are made. We go about our business, we get down there, and the rule was, and the directive was, you had to be down there in 18 minutes. Basically an impossible task. We got down there in 17 minutes. So we're elated, we're standing at attention, nobody else is there. Our superior officers aren't there. And they look down, they see that we're down there, and we're thinking we've done something incredible. They come out and there's confusion, something's amiss. And they look at us and they start firing questions. And at West Point, in your freshman year, you're allowed to say 4 things. Yes, sir. No, sir. Sir, I do not understand. And sir, there's no excuse. That's it. That's what you're allowed to say for an entire year. And they start firing questions. And I'm standing there, no ma'am, yes ma'am, ma'am, I do not understand. Just trying to figure out what's going on. There's confusion. And finally they asked the cadet next to me, Jefferson, you can be out of decorum for the next 10 seconds, tell us what happened. And he said, sir, McBride made the beds. And I see a big smile come across the face of my commanding officer, and then I knew we were okay. We find out 48 hours later, we find out that we're named the best new squad in what's called Beast Barracks. I'm named best new cadet. I'm lucky to be named that. And we are the only squad out of 64 to get down there in that exercise in under 18 minutes, and it's the first time it's been done in 20 years. They bring us out and they pin stuff on us, and they ask me to come out front, and I walk out front, and they're going to give me an award, pin something on me, and it's the same general. Same guy that yelled at me and said bad things about my mom. And he's pinning this on me, and he leans in, and he says, I'll never forget it. He says, McBride, I bet you thought I was crazy, didn't you? I said, no, sir. I did think he was crazy, and I thought he was really mean too, but I couldn't say that. I wasn't allowed, right? So he says, I am a little bit crazy. And I'm trying to keep it together. And he says, and I'll never forget the names he used when he said that. He said, but so was Patton. So was Muhammad Ali. So was MLK. And so was Gandhi. That's what he said to me, and I never forgot it. And he said, I hear that you've discovered a little bit of your crazy, that ability to stretch, to extend yourself when you didn't think you could. He said, good for you. Now go build teams and teach them how to do the same thing. That's your job now. And he, from knocking me down to here, he built me up to here, and it stayed with me forever. What stayed with me was the importance of being a little bit crazy. Stretch yourself, to extend yourself. The importance of doing that one thing that may seem insignificant at the time, but turns out to be important. This year, as you're walking around this campus, as you're playing games, as you're acting, as you're shredding, as you're doing all kinds of other cool stuff, okay? And there's going to be an inflection point, a moment that matters more than any other moment in that endeavor that makes the difference. And that's students, faculty, administrators. Stretch yourself. Find your crazy. Be a little bit crazy. Help that person who you're not sure needs it or not with some seemingly insignificant thing that may turn out to be that compliment about your shoes that makes a difference. I am incredibly blessed and lucky to be part of this community that is Williston. By doing that, you can raise this community to even greater heights. Every day here is an incredible, incredible gift. Enjoy.